We all know and love the MCU. It's provided us with many incredible movie moments that will carry with us forever. And it's also provided us with this. But for the most part, it's been pretty awesome. However, since Endgame released, there's been a massive void. The MCU just hasn't felt like the MCU, and for the life of me, I can't quite figure out why.
Black girl magic! Black girl magic!
Black girl magic!
Oh, right. Never mind. But there is hope yet. The Marvel Universe might have a shining star waiting on the sidelines after all. And that star is getting brighter every year. Welcome to A Marvelous Life. I'm Nashology, and today we are talking about Insomniac Games and their direction in supporting the growth of the Marvel brand. While the MCU was once the shining star of the cinematic landscape, producing billion-dollar movie after billion-dollar movie, that star was soon to burn out, as most stars do. But thankfully, we don't need to put all of our eggs in one entertainment basket. There are other mediums available that can provide us with a cohesive, connected universe that we all crave. And I believe Insomniac Games is just the basket we're looking for. By now, almost everyone has played Spider-Man and its sequels. They were massively successful and incredibly fun. They didn't just capture the essence of Spider-Man, they wove a narrative web that rivals the storytelling prowess of big-screen blockbusters. And that's not easy to do, especially in this day and age where games rely on loot boxes, DLC, and open-world gameplay that's shockingly thin. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Starfield. So, why was Spider-Man so successful? What did Insomniac Games do right? Well, the answer is pretty straightforward. For starters, it had engaging gameplay mechanics that were second to none. The game's web swinging was lauded for being fluid, intuitive, and exhilarating. You genuinely felt like Spider-Man, soaring through the skyscrapers of New York City with a sense of freedom and agility that was unparalleled in previous Spider-Man games. And honestly, movement in a game has never felt this good since Just Cause 2 way back in 2010. The combat system also kicked ass as it was a showcase for fluidity and variety. And yes, it was just as good, if not better, than the Batman Arkham games. And finally, the open world design was incredible. Manhattan was brought to life like no game has ever accomplished before. It was teeming with life, and made even better by all the Marvel Easter eggs spread throughout. It was impossible to not feel engaged as you explored every corner of the city. But it doesn't end there. The game also showcased a very strong narrative. It was a standout aspect. His origin story was left alone, leaving ample room for the development of an older Spider-Man who needs to juggle his heroics with everyday life. And most importantly, Peter Parker was just as much the focus as was his alter ego. The characters in this game felt incredibly fleshed out, and dare I say, even more so than most of the characters that are in the MCU projects that have hit our screens lately. Otto Octavius' transformation was sympathetic and grounded. Harry Osborn's descent into madness was also a sight to behold. And finally, Miles Morales took the bull by the horns and essentially stole center stage from Peter himself. The characters were likable, believable, and made you care about their respective stories. But most importantly, Insomniac Games did the one thing that matters most. They produced a product of emotional maturity that didn't treat its fans as children. The games explored mature themes like responsibility, sacrifice, and personal loss, resonating with an audience that has grown up with the Spider-Man character. These games didn't just have exceptional storytelling for a video game, but exceptional storytelling for any medium. Whereas the MCU needs to focus on likable characters, strong writing, and immersive graphics, a strong game needs all of these on top of engaging gameplay. But if you have all of these pieces, then you have a product that's hard to replicate. The success of Insomniac Games set a precedent. It showed that video games could offer a level of depth, character development, and universe building that's on par with or even surpasses the cinematic experience. Why is this important? Because it opens a door to a universe full of new opportunities. Imagine a video game universe where each game not only stands on its own, but also contributes to a larger, interconnected narrative. A universe where you can swing through New York as Spider-Man in one game, and then, in another, suit up as Iron Man, each story enriching the other. Well, that possibility has just become a lot more likely. Most of us know by now that a Wolverine game is coming very soon, and it's one of the most anticipated games of the next few years. This game will be set in the same universe as Spider-Man, and I very much doubt it will take place in New York City. Instead, it'll likely take place in the city of Madripoor, the Las Vegas-looking hellhole first seen in the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show. Meaning, the Marvel Universe by Insomniac Games is about to grow even more. Watching Wolverine come to life will be exciting because not only is he a fan-favorite character, but realizing a game around adamantium claw mechanics and animalistic combat could be just as satisfying as swinging through the streets of New York City. Now, I'm sure most of you are aware of the massive ransomware leak that occurred on December 12th, 2023. With over 1.3 million files being released by the hackers, including personal information on employees and internal data that reveals upcoming projects from the developer. It was a pretty douchey move on all accounts, but there is a silver lining. The Insomniac Games Marvel Universe is growing as we speak. Not only is there a third Spider-Man game in the works, which was completely obvious considering the tease of the Green Goblin at the end of the second game, but there's also a Venom game in the works, which is incredibly exciting. Controlling Venom in the second Spider-Man game was a highlight, for sure. And let's be honest, with Carnage now appearing in the universe, it's not really fitting to have Miles or Peter take him on. That job belongs solely to Venom. And now, maybe we'll get a square-off between Venom and Carnage that we actually care about.
There's gonna be carnage.
So, we have a Venom game, a Wolverine game, and a third Spider-Man game. What could make this world even better? You guessed it, an X-Men game. As per the leaks, it was discovered that Wolverine is not the only X-Men game in the works, but there are 3 games total that will flesh out the X-Men's presence in the universe. And it's safe to say that these games probably won't be set in New York City or Madripoor, meaning there's more world to come alive. These developments show that a Marvel Universe in a video game format is not only possible, but it's most likely coming to fruition. And let's be real here, us Marvel fans need a new universe to play in, especially as of late. The MCU just hasn't been at the same level, with writing, graphics, and overall presentation just not living up to the pre-Endgame landscape. The MCU is focusing too heavily on inclusion, worrying more about what minority groups they can cover than how to present the best written story they can possibly deliver. Whereas Insomniac Games just cares about creating amazing content, regardless of who's featured. The potential here is immense. A cohesive narrative across multiple games, character arcs that span years and titles, and a fan base actively participating in the unfolding story. This isn't just about playing games. It's about living in a universe, one that grows and evolves with every new title. And with Marvel being home to more than 10,000 characters, the potential to grow this shared universe is enormous. Now, obviously, Insomniac Games will want to avoid the pitfalls of the MCU in that more is definitely not better. They'll want to make sure that they don't overfill their plate and start releasing games that don't match the quality of Spider-Man and its sequels. Regardless, they've proven that with the right amount of care, they can take a Marvel property and make it feel fresh again. And that's exactly what Marvel fans need moving forward. It's been 10 years since the MCU was created, and it's had its ups and downs. But whether superhero fatigue is real or not is beside the point. We just want a product that prioritizes quality over quantity. And for Marvel fans, that means an adventure unlike any other at our fingertips. The MCU needs to slow down and create a more rock-solid product that doesn't dabble in political statements to get its message across. And the world of gaming is exactly the type of place to foster the love for Marvel. What are your thoughts on a shared gaming universe? Is this the right move for Marvel moving forward? And what characters and stories do you think will translate better to the gaming world as opposed to the MCU? Let me know in the comments section below. Till next time, I'm Nashology, and this is A Marvelous Life.